was an astronaut, I'd be floating in midair, and a broken heart would just belong to someone else down there. I would be the center of my lonely universe, but I'm only human, and I'm crashing down to earth. If I was an astronaut, I'd have a bird's eye view. I'd circle around the world.
Oh,
I'm up in space, up in space.
Offworld Percussion. Weird. Weird company. But we embrace the weird. I like the weird. I like that their website story talks about this weird alien encounter and giving them the idea for the dark matter. I think it's brilliant. I love it. I think these guys are fantastic. Dave and Paul, you figured something out and everybody loves your product. And I'm going to review it today. You have no idea that I'm doing this. Offworld was started in 2008 by these two guys, Dave and Paul, out of Vancouver, Washington. And ever since, they've been making iconic products. I say iconic because you see these pads everywhere and everybody loves them. UPS truck is here. More on this later. They wanted to come up with a pad that felt as close to a modern marching drum as possible with like a Kevlar head. So they came up with this thing called dark matter and they applied it somehow. I'm assuming it's a goo. I would love to see the process of how they apply it. I've scrolled through their Instagram to check out the process, but nothing's really there. All I've ever seen is like, it looks like they must pour it on because it drips over the sides or something, and then it dries, and then they have to trim off the excess, but it's fascinating, fascinating compound. Ever since 2008, these guys have been making amazing products. I think most of them have been, up until probably recently, most of these products have been a little more geared towards the marching percussion because that was, as far as I can tell, the beginning, the reason why they started. And then they started making tenor pads. They actually have two different size tenor pads. And then now they've got a range of products and they're all really cool and unique. And you can tell that it's an Offworld product just by looking at it. The branding's great, everything's good. And the best part is it's all made here right in America. Now I don't know where they're sourcing their materials from, but the good news is you can follow them on Instagram and see them making these products. I love it. I love that in a company. I think it's fantastic, and I'm so happy that some of the best practice pads in the world are being made right here in America. If you order from their website, you're gonna spend about $85 to $105, depending on if they're on sale or not. You have a choice between 3 different color rims at this moment. You can get red, blue, and black. No additional fee for any of that stuff. Then you can do what I did and get the vinyl, what do they call it? The vinyl mylar laminate, VML. You can get the VML in 4 different flavors. You have, I think, black, gunmetal. This is the blue chameleon, which is dope. And I think there's a 3D blue that they just recently started. I don't know how long they've had it, but it says new 3D blue. 13 3/4 inches around, or not around, in diameter. 13 3/4 inches in diameter, that's across. And it's about 1 3/8 thick. So it's a big practice pad. But the cool thing is that when you put it on a 14-inch drum, it fits right inside the rim with a little bit of wiggle room. So it's a good size, and the best part is, when you play, you get pretty much almost the same size as a standard 14-inch drum. So it's really good for muscle memory, things like that. Packability, it's big. This is a big practice pad. I think this might be my biggest practice pad, aside from maybe my Real Feel. my old Real Fuel. I think that's about the same, maybe bigger, but that's an octagon shape, so this will slide into your backpack a little easier. However, this dark matter on the bottom, while really good for keeping it from sliding around like on your lap or on a table or something, it will also be a pain in the butt when you put it in your backpack. So just make sure that you're careful with sheet music and books and things like that, because it'll stick to it. I've had it tear pages out of things before, or get close to tearing pages out of things before. What I usually do is I'll put mine at the very back of my backpack. This will be the thing that's right up against my back, so it doesn't stick to any papers or any of that junk. It is quite heavy at 5 pounds. So if you've got this thing in your backpack, you got some books, maybe you got a laptop, maybe you've got like 4 or 5 pairs of sticks, maybe some mallets if you're in school, like it starts to get heavy. And then you want to put a water bottle in there, maybe another bottle for coffee, like it's beefy. So just be aware that it's not light, but that heaviness also helps out because when you put it on a flat table, it's not gonna jump around on you when you play. We'll test this further later, but it's heavy, and I think it's a good thing that it's heavy. Even though it's heavy to carry around, it's good that it's heavy. You get it. So dark matter is an advanced polymer of some sort that does a really good job of replicating the feel of what an actual drum feels like, and I appreciate the effort. I think everybody's trying to do that in their marching percussion pads, and it does a pretty good job of getting close, not without exception. I mean, there are some areas that we'll talk about when we get into the office, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I couldn't find any information on the type of wood that's at the heart of this thing. I don't know if it's just like a really dense MDF or if it's plywood or what. Pretty sure the inside of this thing is wood, just not sure what it is. The rim is a 360 degree, wait, let's see if I get this right. The rim is a patented 360 degree stick saver. That's trademarked, I guess, I think, from their website. It looks to be injected molded plastic. It's got this really cool texture on it, all over it, except on the very top of the rim where your sticks will be contacting the rim. That's actually really smooth. I don't know if they did that on purpose or if it was a happy accident, but I'm gonna give them the benefit of the I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt and say that it's definitely attention to detail. They did that on purpose. I'm telling you, I bet it is. And if anybody from Offworld is watching, please comment and let me know if you did that on purpose or not. The top and bottom of this thing are slathered in dark matter. I'm pretty certain that it's the same thickness on the bottom as it is on the top. Pretty sure. I don't know for certain. I couldn't find any information on how thick they apply this dark matter stuff. But what I like about it is it's got this shine to it. It's got little specks of I don't know. It's got this space age, vibe to it, which totally fits the brand Offworld Percussion Invader, alien themes, all the stuff, space stuff. I dig it. It looks cool. Very, very cool. So I don't know. It doesn't say if it's the same amount on the top as it is the bottom. I'm guessing it's the same. I think what they were going for, and I could be wrong, is they wanted the top to be the same feel as the bottom, except it has a rim and the other side doesn't have a rim. I've got the VML on mine, the vinyl mylar laminate. The VML, I guess, was originally designed for car wraps. It's the same thing as a car wrap, essentially. They're probably getting custom colors and things, designs printed for them, made for them, and it just sticks on there. I guess you can take it off. I'm not gonna take mine off just because I figured the bottom's the same as the top, just without a rim. Offworld Percussion. I like it. You've done it. It's heavy, sturdy, it's fun to look at. Let's go see how it sounds. Okay, here we go. How does it sound? Let's play a few notes. Let's play loud, medium, soft. Let's play a little bit of something. We'll get all the things. Whoa. Yeah, you can definitely hear a difference in my sticks, right? Lots and lots of rebound. I like it. I like all this rebound I'm getting. My favorite part, I think, is the articulation that you get, especially for the low end, right? A lot of pads will be articulate kind of on the loud side, but when you get quieter and quieter, it's harder and harder to hear separation of notes. And it's very easy to fuzz out notes on a lot of like gum rubber pads, right? So if you're playing quiet rolls or quiet threes, this thing is super crisp. You can hear every single note. So if you accidentally fuzz out a note, you'll hear it. Which is crucially important, especially when you're trying to play clean with other people. So I love that about this pad. Rebound's good. It feels nice and springy. Although I have to admit, this does feel a lot like an old Flam 2. Remember the old Flam 2s? They were completely Kevlar, and people used to crank them down, and it felt like a tabletop, like a literal tabletop. That's what this feels like to me. So not quite as mushy, I wouldn't say mushy, not quite as forgiving, we'll say, as like a white max or a black max. This is more to me like a Flam 2. But that's just this side of the pad, right? And dead center. Super reboundy, but kind of hard as a rock, you know? How about halfway in between? Ooh. I'm starting to feel a little more give, actually, as I go halfway, but from center to the edge, I feel more give. So it actually feels better to me right here. Ooh, did you hear that? Can't hide on this pad. Feels really good. I like it. I mean, it's reminiscent of an old Flam 2. And as you get to the mid, it forgives a little more. At least that's my experience. And I don't know. I like it. I like the way it feels. I especially like that you can't hide. That is brilliant. If you want to learn how to play clean, this is the pad for you. There are other pads out there that are similar to this, where it's like a bouncy, rubbery substance topped with some sort of laminate. And I'm getting another one of those in from a different company shortly. But so far, man, this is going to be tough to beat as far as articulation is concerned. Articulation without sacrificing feel too much, right? How about rim shots? Prologics didn't do so well with rim shots. Couldn't tell the difference between a rim and an actual shot. It was very difficult to tell. Let's see how this does. Here's some rims. Intentionally, I'm just hitting the rim. Let's try to get some shots. So it does have a little more of a crack to it than just hitting a rim, which is good, but it's still not hugely obvious. And it actually feels kind of hard to get. Ooh, did you hear that fuzz? That could just be because this isn't a drum, right? Like, part of it's feel. The feel of a shot is very different than hitting a rim or hitting the drum. They do have their own feel, and I said this in the Prologics video too, but I would say 20% better than the Prologics at least. I can tell I'm hitting a shot. I feel like on a drum I can nail a shot just about every time, and I know I'm getting it. This one, I have a hard time finding the shot, but at least I can kind of tell a difference. It's not a huge difference between a rim and an actual shot, but it's there. Let's flip it over, shall we? Get in there and adjust my stand. There we go. I like the rebound on this side better. Actually, it feels the same amount of spring, right? I get the same kind of energy back, but it feels like it's giving a little more. It feels closer to like a black max or a white max, kind of a lower tuned one too, right? Not quite as cranked, but Definitely get the springiness, but it's actually more forgiving on my hands. We're losing some articulation, especially on the low end, but that's okay. Obviously, shots are going to be better because I'm getting more surface area of the stick on this flat thing, so it's like a slap sound. It's a huge difference between the edge and actually hitting a slap. Rim's tricky for these manufacturers, and I get it. Like, that's a hard thing to replicate. At least it's there. I like having a rim, and I get it's probably really hard to make that difference between a whiff sound and an actual shot. It's hard. I like the feel of this side better than the other side, but I like the articulation of the other side for ear training purposes. So, I mean, let's throw it on my lap and see what it sounds like. By the way, if anybody, you know, doesn't find the lap thing or I'm gonna do the desk here in a minute. If you don't find that useful, tell me, put a comment, let me know. I'll stop doing it. But if you really like me putting it on the stand and the lap and then the table, put a comment, let me know. If it's a good thing, I'll keep doing it. I do notice slight differences in the way it sounds and feels. And if it helps you decide whether or not you're gonna buy this thing, ask yourself, is it worth it? Do I need to keep giving you that information, or are you cool without it? Just let me know. Anywho, here it is on my lap. I know it's probably gonna feel different. I know it's gonna sound different for sure. So here's the laminate side on my lap. I gotta say, I'm not worried at all about this thing falling off my lap, which is great. That's the dark matter. That's this stuff right here. I love that. I think that's fantastic. It's not going anywhere. Look at this thing. Look at it. Try to push. It's not going anywhere. So I like that. I'm telling you, my favorite part about this pad is this articulation. It feels pretty good, right? It's a little too, you know, block of wood concrete-ish. It's got plenty of rebound, which is great. It's not an extreme amount of rebound, so it's not ridiculous. It's not under rebounding. I think it's the perfect amount of rebound. It feels a little tight right here, right? Like a super cranked Flam 2, but I really like that articulation. I think that's very valuable, and I think that's what makes this pad worth it, is that you get that articulation side, but you get the great feel of the bare dark matter stuff. Yeah. So did you notice I had to raise my knees to keep it from sliding off? You can try it, right? Yeah, without the dark matter, it's gonna slide around a bit, so it's a little tricky holding it on your lap like this, but it feels really good. Like I said, I like the feel of this side better than the other side. Yeah, it feels really good, sounds really good, and God, I love Uplift. Still not sponsored. So, this is what it sounds like on a desk. It should be fine. I don't anticipate it to be that much different. It'll sound different, but I don't anticipate much of a feel difference. So, let's give it a shot. I was wrong. It's a little bit more bouncy, it feels like. Interestingly, it doesn't feel as harsh as it did earlier, like the tabletop-y feeling, which is ironic because I'm on a tabletop. But it doesn't feel as tabletop-y. It does feel more bouncy. Maybe that's just the more bounce confusing me, but you see that thing? I was hitting the crap out of it, and it's not moving. Yeah, it doesn't feel as much like a plank of wood, right? Or concrete. It's a little more givey, which is nice. Let's flip it over. I doubt I'm gonna like it flipped over, just because it's rim, and it didn't do well on the Pro Logic, so this one's probably the same. Let's see. Yeah. You hear a lot of the table only because there's that hard rim touching the hard table, and there's a gap between the heads, and it's just not good. It's prone to slippage, right? It's gonna slide around a little bit on you probably. I mean, it's heavy, so it's not gonna move that much. I don't like it. I'm gonna go ahead and say that most pads that have rims, probably not great to flip it over and do it that way. Like, it's just not good. Leave it on its bottom side. All right, do I like this pad? Yes, I do. Do I recommend it? Yes, I do. You just have to know that it's not for everyone, right? Like, this pad is mainly for people who are trying to play in a drum line, that kind of thing, where you're training your ears and you're training your hands, and you want something close to the actual drum without getting an actual drum. This is pretty dang close, especially on the low ends when you're trying to play like soft, quiet rolls and threes and stuff like that. You'll hear yourself fuzz them out, which is great. You need to be able to hear that. And you don't get that on a lot of these gum rubber pads. You won't be able to tell. It'll be hard to tell if you can at all. So this one's great because of the articulation. Great, great, great for the articulation. Not only for the fuzzing out of notes, but also learning how to play clean with others. That is fantastic. The dark matter stuff feels really good, man. It feels really good. And it's kind of amazing to me how thin it's on there. I actually like the dark matter feel better than the laminate, but I like the laminate sound specifically for the ear training part of it. Again, the rim, I think it's a little better than the Pro Logics, and I can hear a little bit better between an actual shot and a rim. Slightly better, but yeah, it's still not like as definitive as I'd like it to be. Other than that, I think it's a great product. For the money, $85 to $105, little steep, but it's made in America. It's really well made. These are American people making these things in Washington State. So the price is what it is, and it's worth every penny. I think if you buy this, you'll have it for life, especially if you take care of it. It's not perfect, but I don't think any pad is ever gonna be perfect. Somebody prove me wrong. If you like this video, go ahead and play an 8th note on the like button. If you don't like this video and you think I'm dumb, please play a diddle on the dislike button. Don't forget to subscribe, do all the things, click the bell if you want. I get it if you don't, because you know you're gonna get blown up. Although I don't make videos too often. Like once every 3-4 weeks I post a video, so it's not like I'm gonna be blowing you up. Maybe someday I'll be blowing you up, but not today. So, thank you. I enjoyed making this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.
I'm up in space.